what I wanted to talk about is something that I realized probably like a week ago. Um, it's kind of like an uncomfortable thing to talk about because like you do a lot of work to feel like you're healing, and you do a lot of really good work, and you do heal a lot. But there's parts of yourself that are unhealed, and sometimes you have to leave those parts unhealed in order to survive, basically, and to feel okay enough to keep going on in your life. So like sometimes there's like behaviors that you do or like parts about yourself that you know are unhealed, but you allow them to be that way because they basically let you function normally and continue on with your life. Um, and I think that can be okay a lot of the time, and I think it can work for a lot of people and in a lot of parts of your life. And it definitely has for me, and I have no doubt that I will continue to do certain things like that. But one finally came up for me where it was like, wow, this needs to go. And I was like, oh my God, this is so something that I would never picture myself like releasing. Do I want to share what it is? I don't really know. I don't know if that would be hurtful or helpful for me, but basically I realized that there's some things that I do in life that keep me small and don't allow me to reach my full potential. So like basically, if you are engaging in stuff that keeps you small and that like puts you down, my example is eating disorder related, okay? I'm gonna share it because there's no way to like really fully explain this without sharing an example. So if you struggle with an eating disorder and eventually you recover from that eating disorder, I'm not saying any of these behaviors are your fault or like anything about it is your fault, but basically you get to a point where you are in a place where you've recovered and you're doing well, but there's some behaviors that you still hold on to. And you might need to hold on to those behaviors for a while in order to just feel okay and continue on with your life, and that's okay. However, eventually you get to a point where you realize that there's this like higher potential that you want for yourself and this like life that you envision for yourself and all of these like wonderful things that you really strongly envision and want to manifest. But I had a moment where I was like, I'm being blocked. Like, oh my God, my necklace. Sorry, 1 second. I actually thrifted this necklace recently. I think it's really beautiful. I really like a big heart pendant. I'm looking for like a huge one. Like I want to get like a giant one. But anyways, I had this moment where I like saw what was blocking my like energy from coming in, like keeping myself small and expending so much energy on these behaviors is blocking good things from coming for me. And there's like this life that I deserve and this life that I want, and there's things that I'm doing that are blocking it from coming in. And I realized that like even though those things like allow me to like feel okay and function day to day, it's not allowing me to grow. And like I don't know, it's so much fear around stuff. Like that's a big part of like healing from an eating disorder is basically like releasing some of the fears that you have. But like sometimes those fears are so overwhelming. Like sometimes they're so overpowering and they're so like deeply rooted in you, like stuff that you've learned since you were like a child. And the fear is so strong that releasing some of the behavior just doesn't feel possible. It feels like that fear will like overcome you, basically overtake you. And that is really scary because you don't know where you'll end up when that happens. And that's why I think it can be meaningful to hold on to some behaviors, because I think like if you release everything right away, you will just like relapse back into it because you have nothing to ground you. But eventually, once you've like gathered enough tools in your life to like be grounded, then you can actually like open your eyes and see the parts of yourself that is holding you back, and you can kind of envision the life that you might have without those things. And I think I'm just at the point where it's finally like, okay, I'm being blocked because of this and I have to release it. Like that's what's blocking me. I've basically gotten like everything that I've wanted to achieve like realistically with like where I'm at. But like there's no way I can progress from where I'm at if I don't like further work to heal and release things that are like holding me back. And so the next step from there is to identify behaviors that are like continuing your cycle that are holding you back, like identifying stuff that you do day to day that keep you stuck, because sometimes like trying to dismantle like the mental barriers that you have and like the emotions and like it goes so deep, like the emotional attachments that you have and like the way that you're stuck. Like it's so hard to dismantle that from the inside and just like think about it. I mean, you have like moments of realization, but it's hard to like dismantle the whole thing. So you have to like find tangible behaviors that you're doing as a human that you can like work on, instead of trying to like go into your like spiritual self and like heal from there. You have to find tangible behaviors that your like spirit is holding on to and like using to perpetuate that cycle. And once you find those tangible behaviors and you can address them, and you can either like change them or stop them or funnel the energy into something else, that's when you can actually progress spiritually. Like just envisioning your spiritual self and like manifesting without doing any like tangible work to keep it grounded here is not going to get you anywhere. So you have to like find actual physical things that you can change that allow your spiritual mindset to change, basically. And so I chose a few behaviors that it's time to end, basically. And you have to replace them with stuff. You can't just like stop doing them and don't have a replacement or like a game plan. And so that's the part where I'm kind of in right now, is identifying replacements, finding things where I can channel my energy physically, and basically having a plan for when stuff doesn't go right, because sometimes like it's not realistic to just expect yourself to stop a behavior and never do it again. Like I'm sure sometimes that happens, and for some people that happens, and maybe some point in my life that would be able to happen, but right now I don't think that's super realistic. And so it's also finding a game plan for yourself, which is really challenging, definitely. And I think like you create that plan as mistakes happen, basically, or not mistakes, but like as you fall back into those behaviors. But pretty much I just wanted to tell you, like, there might be things like if you feel like you're at a point in your life where you're kind of like gotten everything, and you're kind of in a space where you're a little bit more calm and you can kind of like ground yourself, and you feel like something's missing, it might be time for you to address some of those long-term beliefs and behaviors that could maybe be broken down now. Like maybe a few years ago you couldn't break them down because you needed them to hold you. But I don't know, as I like release my attachment to people and things, I feel more freedom in identifying parts of myself that are actually holding me back. And that is super healing too, is to like release your attachment to like any people or things or places. That allows you to actually see parts of yourself that you're holding back. Like when you aren't attached to so many things and hold so much anxiety around them and feel the need to control them, then you can actually see places in yourself that is blocking you, or like behaviors you do that are blocking you from reaching your full potential. And so really I think what like triggered this whole like cascade for me of like realizing these things is actually just releasing my attachment to people and things. I've been really working on that a lot because I'm finally in like a stable place in my life where I can release my attachment to stuff. Like I'm just here in my home with my job, and I can like finally like not need anyone or anything, and it feels really good because I can actually like listen to myself and my body and what I need and what I want and what's right for me. And now I'm like seeing, wow, there's like stuff that I can actually work on that like feels really good to me that I wasn't able to work on before. Like sometimes you want to work on stuff, but you're not at the point in your life where you actually can, like in a safe way. But like I'm actually at a point in my life now where there's like stuff I can work on in a safe way that I like wanted to work on, and it feels really good. And it's all from releasing attachments and just accepting where I am. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I don't know. I hope you have a good week. If you have anything to share, like you can relate it all, please comment your experiences or your thoughts. I'm really curious to hear. This is probably my favorite type of video to make. So I will be back next week with another video. Okay.